let's bear in mind that Ted Cruz is not just a weakling and a pathetic possum-faced loser. He's also an idiot. And so he says a lot of dumb stuff to chase political right-wing clout, assuming, probably rightly, that most people will forget about the stupid things that he says. Well, we're gonna try to remember when we can. So I want you to take a look at what he had to say back on July 22nd. This amazing prognosticator, Ted Cruz, here's what he thought was likely to happen later this year.
If it ends up that Biden wins in November, I hope he doesn't, I don't think he will, but if he does, I guarantee you the week after the election, suddenly all those Democratic governors, all those Democratic mayors will say, everything's magically better. Go back to work, go back to school. Suddenly the problems are solved. You won't even have to wait for Biden to be sworn in. All they'll need is election day. And suddenly their willingness to just destroy people's lives and livelihoods, they will have accomplished their task. That's wrong. It's cynical. And we shouldn't be a part of it.
I love when he does his like fake stutter thing because he thinks it adds gravitas. Like he's getting so worked up that he's not sure what to say. It is so artificial. What a possum-faced loser, as I said. Yes, it's the Democratic mayors that are trying to destroy people's lives. As Ted Cruz is using the platform he has to encourage as many people as possible to gather in a tiny space and give each other COVID for Thanksgiving. That's fun. And he couldn't be more wrong. And does it matter? No, because people getting things wrong, even at the expense of people's lives, has long since ceased to matter in America.
Yeah, because it's all about the invisible hand of the market, which has its hand, right up our butts at this point. Let's never forget that they've put the market, they've put their stocks above people's lives. This isn't about the economy. This is not about small businesses. Otherwise, those small businesses would still be around. They would have gotten those PPP loans, right? They don't. They didn't. Otherwise, unemployment benefits would be extended. Otherwise, people would be paid to stay home. They don't care about business, actual small businesses. They care about their portfolios. They care about the stock market. They care about getting out and getting out good. And they don't care how many people's lives have to be sacrificed to the market as long as the economy comes first. And only a very, very small understanding again of what that economy actually is. Exactly. And that's the thing, we're gonna keep going. I mean, I think someone in the chat was saying about lockdowns, like this is absolutely what's going to keep happening. We need to depoliticize lockdowns as much as we can. And you saw Ted Cruz trying to politicize it when the opposite is happening, right? We know that Biden and Kamala Harris have already convoked like the first task force around coronavirus, and they're not even in office. Meanwhile, Trump is golfing for what? How many times since the pandemic started? So sadly, this is all on us, and it is on us to be tested and tested and tested, to not take a flight, to not, be in close quarters with our family members, to try and to wear masks, to eat outside, to say hi and then leave. I mean, there's just like a lot of things we can do, and it's being the weird one, being the like paranoid one, because hey, that paranoia is really going to save you. That is going to be the difference in the time coming forward, because there is no leadership and it sucks. But that's what we're stuck with, and we're stuck with knowing that. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm like, God, how can cases be rising? I've literally said I've seen no one, like, see my mom for the first time in 6 months. And I'm like, but am I doing something wrong? And then you think, no, I don't even leave. I don't gather. I don't do anything. I've never eaten in a restaurant outside. Like I don't even do that. So it's frustrating, but I can't even say there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Who knows? But we have to keep doing this.
Theoretically, there are vaccines, but it's still a long way away. And until then, there are gonna be people who, like you say, take it super seriously. And in exchange for that, they get to say things like, I get to say, I don't have COVID and I haven't had COVID, which is kind of nice. Don Jr. can like joke about it on Twitter, but he's also got COVID. So the joke's on him and the disease is on him, more importantly. Now, there are also people that unfortunately, because our country has decided, screw you if you're working class, we're gonna give you a tiny bit of help for a tiny period of time, and then you're on your own. Yeah. There have been plenty of people that have been forced due to their economic circumstances to engage with the world, and many of them have gotten COVID, many of them have died. That is a shame that should never be forgiven, that our country allowed that to happen, made the choice for that to happen. But then there's also a lot of entitled, stupid a-holes that are so selfish that they will infect not only themselves, but others with this disease, all while making insane, stupid predictions like Ted Cruz. And it wasn't just Ted Cruz. Donald Trump was saying things like this.
It's COVID, COVID, COVID. You can't watch anything else. On November 4th, you won't be hearing so much about it.
Except that you will, because the cases were rising on November 4th, and they still are. And he was tweeting, "Oh, the fake news media wants to talk about is COVID, COVID, COVID. On November 4th, you won't be hearing so much about it anymore. We're rounding the turn." And he kept saying it. At least 40 times he said that the virus would go away. But again, it wasn't just him. It was even like his lesser child, Eric Trump, saying it's just a ploy to stop his campaign. It will magically disappear. Does he have COVID? Not yet. He'll get it next week.
Soon,
you have
very
idiot
soon.
grifters like Dave Rubin saying, "Can we all admit that the pandemic is over now? Like, at least give us that as you peddle the rest of this nonsense." On November 5th, as cases were rising, and they're still rising, and a couple thousand people are dying every day. But again, America has made the decision that we are going to pay people and give them power based on how much they say things that make me feel warm and nice inside, not the distance between what they say and the truth.
Yep.
That's a decision we've made, and so we get grifters like this in media and politics.
Yes, but we will not rise to this challenge. We will bury our head in the sand and say that we're macho for doing so and deny, deny, deny until it comes knocking on our door. And then we'll still deny it. You know, we last week, John, you and I did that story and we talked about nurses who are attending patients who are still in disbelief, who still believe COVID is not real. You know, and like we all think that we're above it. We think, oh yeah, you know, well, I believe it and therefore I'm taking precautions. But it's amazing how it trickles down. It's amazing how these idiots who, you're right, have been upheld as somehow leaders, how even their idiocy or their fake machismo does trickle down to everyday folks who might otherwise believe something like this. As if like, oh yeah, we're in the know. We know that it's fake. We're cool because we know it's fake. No. It's unprecedented. We are in crazy times. It's okay to feel crazy, but like, kind of like, take your hat off to history, bro. We're not even in a studio. I mean, this is how, John, how long have we been in quarantine and in our homes doing this show? You just got back to the studio by yourself, just you and the daddy long legs up in there. You know, it's crazy times. We're all making sacrifices, and yeah, it's one for the history books. So deal with it.
It is, yeah, it 100% is. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.